Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I hope that you are having a great day. I should say off the top that the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like to say a big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Not only are you viewers, you are family as well. And since I'm here by myself, I will not be sharing the link just in case some technical difficulties take place. So I'll wait for a few more people to come on here. But today we're going to be talking about a Black woman, a sister, going viral for crashing out on a vendor in the DR, the Dominican Republic. And I probably should fix my title because I forgot to put the crash out, but it's on the thumbnail nevertheless. So I'm going to try to only be here about a half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, just to have a little quick conversation with you all. Who's on here? We have Volvo. How you doing? LaShondra, how you doing? Maria, what's going on with you? Troy, greater achievements. I hope you're doing well. Priscilla, how you doing? And Mr. Matthew, hope you're having a great day. Also, if y'all want to catch up with me along with Brother Phil and Sister Vicky Dillard, African Diaspora News Channel in Columbus, Ohio, Memorial Day weekend, which is May 24th and 25th. Y'all can go to ohioblackexpo.com, ohioblackexpo.com to purchase some tickets. It's going to be concerts and just a whole bunch of stuff, wellness things. It's going to be a great weekend if you happen to be in Columbus, Ohio during that time. Also on the African Diaspora News Channel, we do have an app that is Black owned. If you would love to go to africandiasporanews.org and invest in the app that we have built just for you, we love and appreciate you for that, because a lot of times on these platforms, we cannot say all the things that we want to say and how we want to say it. So that's what owning your own stuff is about. So in case you're curious about that, also I have ways to help the channel here at the bottom if you see fit to do so. But more importantly, just thank you for being here. Red Ninja, how you doing? Carrie, what's going on with you? Mr. South Carolina. Candace, how are you? All right, so are y'all ready to get started? All right, great. Because I know somebody's going to come in here and say, what are we talking about? So I'll actually give them another 20 seconds or so, and then we'll get into it. Today, Friday, I don't know. It's just a regular old day for me. I always have something to do, but I've been trying to really schedule my time so I can come on here a little bit more and just have, even if it's just quick conversations with you all. I'm also working on some stuff, other stuff to add to the channel as soon as my daughter gets done with it. And I'll tell you guys all about it when I actually get ready to do it. Jaeger, how you doing? It says from New Orleans. All right. New Orleans is one of my favorite places to go. I went 2 years ago for my birthday and it was just amazing. You guys have so many festivals there. I think it was like a strawberry festival, and then it was like a blues or jazz festival. I don't know what kind of festival it was, but it was a musical one nevertheless, and just a great time. So I look forward to going back. All right, that's enough tap dancing. Let's get into it. All right, so I don't know if you guys have seen this video, maybe haven't, or maybe have. I'll show it to you nevertheless. But it's of a sister in the Dominican Republic, from what I understand. She's having a moment, okay? And it's probably a little bit more than a moment. Some people call it a crash out, and that's when people just go berserk, right? They just, they can't control themselves, and they just totally just lose it. Well, apparently, from what we could kind of ascertain, now I will tell you it's bleeped out because she's dropping them, right? The F-bombs and things like that. But it sounds like she was accusing the vendor of not giving her change back, not giving her money back, right? Sounds like, that's what the point of contention was. But this particular video has made its rounds all over the internet, and there's a lot of narratives being drawn about it. And we'll get into that after I show it to you. So I'm going to go ahead and put it up. And I'm going to start it. I have to do it the old triple OG way for obvious reasons. Y'all ready? Here we go.
She threw his pineapples overboard because he charged her more than what the ride was worth. Is she wrong for this?
All right. Did y'all got the point? Y'all need to see it again? I don't think y'all need to see it again. So I'll take her down. My Lord. Okay. So nevertheless, sounds like the sister was having a moment because from what they're saying, she got charged more than the ride was worth. I've even seen some people say that her money was stolen. He didn't give her back her change and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? Nevertheless, she threw the man's pineapples, and I don't see any more comments, so I don't know if anybody else is commenting. Sometimes this thing gets to acting crazy. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so she was throwing the man's pineapples and everything all over the place, and she had a lot to say. Of course, people were filming her. She jumped off of the boat and she was still going in. Now, the conversation that I saw was unfortunately in regards to black women. All black women don't know how to act. Black women got anger issues. That's, I think, the most narrative that I saw was black women have anger issues. Then there were some people who's like, well, I don't blame her. They stole her money, right? They shouldn't have taken her money or whatever the case is. I would have did the same thing too. And that came from, hey, Sagittarius guys, men and women. I saw say that, but I think mostly the narrative was that she's out of control, and they attributed that to the attributes of black women. That's what I saw. So what I want to do for the time that I'm here is, hey, Candy, is have a conversation with you all. Was she valid? Was there a different way to go about that? And listen, for a lot of us who have traveled to different places overseas, I mean, I've been God a few times, nothing major. Like I went to when I went to Cabo San Lucas. Okay. Now, I didn't know that I also needed a permission from my daughter's father to take her, to a different country. I didn't know that. So when you get to customs over in Mexico, they say, I think my daughter's maybe like 12, 13, I don't know, something like that. They said, do you have a affidavit or something like that from her father saying that she could be here? And I'm like, so I had to think quickly on my feet. I said, I haven't seen her father since she was like 1. I don't even know where he's at. I've never seen him. And then they asked my daughter, he says, oh, little girl, where is your dad? And my daughter already knew. She went. So the guy was like, okay, $40, and you got to give me $40. I was like, bet. Gave him 40 American dollars, and I kept it pushing, So I think most people probably have a story of, and it's not right. I'm not saying it's right that they do that to you overseas. They get you for the money or, lie to you. And I'm not saying it's right, but there's bigger issues that can happen when you're crashing out like that, right? You might be able to go to jail. And listen, y'all know my story of being in the DR. Yes, I said the DR. They tried to snatch me and my daughter up. We were standing on the street. We're waiting for an Uber. We had just came from the beach. And, the deportation van or entourage or whatever it was came up on us and grabbed us up both by the arms, surrounded us, and was like, where's your passports? And before I could say anything, a lady ran from across the street and says, leave them alone. They're Americans. And then they left us alone. So I couldn't imagine acting like that and not having to pay any consequences, right? I don't know necessarily what kind of consequences she should pay, but I would think somewhere, even in the DR, it's illegal to destroy people's property. Y'all saw it, and if you didn't see it, I'm sorry. Y'all could go back and watch it from the beginning. But she's throwing a man's belongings, and it looks like maybe it was a raft that he's making drinks or something like that. So she's throwing all of his product in the water as she's, going nuts. So I want to know from y'all, what is your opinion on it? If you didn't see it, go back, rewind it, and catch up to here. I have some opinions, and I'm going to give it in just a minute. Lily, how you doing? You have a great weekend as well. Jacoby, what's going on with you? Says how she handled it was wrong, but I understand being charged and trying to get over it. Right. Now, I also heard that maybe it was $25. I don't know if that's what it was, right? $25 is a lot of money to some people. Hell, depending on what day it is for me, it's a lot of money. But for real though. But then somewhere you have to ask yourself, Is $25 worth me going to jail in another country? Is it worth it? Is not having the proper emotional intelligence worth going to the clink in another country? Because you can't even do that here. You can't go up to a vendor and let's say they take your money or they give you the wrong change. You can't do that. Because not giving me my right change may be more of a civil matter than a criminal matter. Follow me here, okay? You don't give me my change and I say you cheated me. That's the point of contention that may be a civil matter, which is me. Let's say I'm over here in America, right? Me versus the ice cream store, okay? The ice cream store didn't give me my change. They're like, yes, I did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. All right. If it's that much to me, I can go to the court and sue them civilly. Me versus ABC ice cream shop, okay? Now, because I'm lacking emotional intelligence, I tear that ice cream shop up. I swipe everything off the counters. I rip down the signs and pour out the syrup everywhere. That's now a criminal matter that can land me in jail. Y'all following me? So that's here. What do they do to you in other countries? Now, we've heard a lot about people, what was it, Dubai or something like that? Some sister was over there loud talking some dude. I don't know. She loud talking some dude in Dubai or somewhere over there, and they locked her up. Talking about she was loud talking in public. A man loud talking, I guess it was a man loud talking somebody in public, and they locked her up. And they was talking about giving her some gears. Sound like they eventually let her go. But a lot of countries don't be cutting for you, not having no emotional intelligence, and you over there acting like a donkey. You know what I mean? So I'm going to get to these comments because I got a lot more to say about it. And I get it. I think we've all been cheated out of something. But I damn sure am not going too cute for the orange suit. Okay, I'm not going to jail. And trust me, I know it's hard. KP from KC, how you doing? You crazy. You said Sharkeisha does it again. Ooh, child of God, how you doing? It says, get the police if someone robs you. Come on now, let them handle it. You don't know how it could turn out in another country. Yeah, what if that man would have reached up under his boat with a harpoon or something? I don't know. You know what I mean? Everybody ain't going to be diplomatic about you tearing up their livelihood, especially in those countries. That's how they make their money. You throwing all his pineapples and drinks and stuff all up in the water. And then maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe the man thought he gave you the change and you didn't, have the sense to say, okay, let's talk about this. One other time when I was in Mexico, I got sold some, the dude told us it was water. The water bottle seemed to be closed up. It wasn't water. It was some tap water. And we all got Montezuma's revenge. And if you know, you know. Okay. So sometimes that stuff happens over there. JG, how you doing? It says that's why when you go to the places like that and have no understanding of the language or culture, you must always have a trustful guide with you at all times. Yeah, that's another thing. Going to other countries and you not knowing nothing, all you know is English and ignorance. Yeah, you might catch a bad one over there. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't understand that type of behavior. I don't. And so when I see like these videos, and then listen, admittedly, it's not just black women, it's black men, it's white women, it's everybody does it. But unfortunately, people like to highlight the sister. And I don't know if the sister just, put a little extra season on it. I don't know what it is, but yeah. All right. Frank, how you doing? Says they will try to hit you with a gringo price, especially if you don't speak their language. Better check the going rate before hiring a vendor or buying anything. Yeah. And in some cases, like you said, they're going to charge you for being an American because normally the dollar is worth more in certain places, right? So yeah, they're going to hit you up. But the other thing too is just be prepared to pay that. I think most people go on vacation, you should budget for that kind of stuff. Yeah, they're probably gonna try to get me, for extra or whatever, because I really just don't know. All right, fine. I'm a budget for that. Now, if it gets too stupid, then just walk away. But yeah, I remember when we went to South Africa. I wasn't really familiar with the currency just yet. Yeah, we had just got there and we took a taxi ride or Uber. I don't know what it was. And I thought I was giving the dude some big change. I thought I was, giving him some tips and all that. He looked. And then Donovan and my daughter was like, you didn't give him the right amount of money. Like I completely shortchanged him. So I didn't know, right? So yeah, it's just all about knowing. Andre, how you doing? He says, yep, she could be arrested for destruction of property, acting like a spoiled brat. Yeah. Frankie says they will lock you up and then charge you a big fine to get out, knowing your passport and belongings are back in a hotel. Yep, they put that extra fee on there, huh? Mr. South Carolina says irrational decision has consequences if you don't know the law. Yeah, and even if you know the law and you're irrational, it's going to cost you something. Carrie says we are all supposed to be human unless you are so-called Black. Wow, I'm not really sure what that means, but regardless of who you are, what color you are, we are human and we should act like we got some sense regardless, right? Yakub, how you doing? It says Americans need to know jail in other countries and not like jail in America. Yep. Khadijah, Sister Khadijah, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. It says it's always a different way to respond. However, depending on the situation and the emotional charge, it happens. That is true. And, and of course, I don't need to tell you, Honorable Elijah Muhammad I told us to think 5 times before we speak. And I'd imagine that's before you act in anything else, right? Because what is it going to cost you? What are you going to do or say to somebody that may cost you something, that may cost them something? And sometimes you only got that. It's just that quick before you say, okay, I feel the volcano rising up in there. And somebody about to get the razor blades and the lemon juice. But then you have to say, the way I want to respond is really not going to be good. So let me take it down a notch. And I'm not saying that, and I want y'all to know, whenever I'm up here, I'm not speaking from a point of, I've got it all together. Because every time I be wanting to crash on, I'm like, Lord Jesus, be with me right now. And it's a lot sometimes to have to catch yourself, so yeah. Matthew says, when you're behind enemy lines and don't know the rules, you got to know when to take a loss and keep it moving. At least you're free. Yeah, I'm not getting back on that. I'm not going to buy nothing else from him. Or if I'm going to buy a drink, it's going to be at the bar, at the hotel, or, whatever. I'm just not going to do that no more. Because, sometimes, yeah, they like, yeah, they dumb. They don't know the lingo. They don't know this, that. I'm going to get them. All right. But I'm not going to jail. I'm not, And then a lot of people too, I've been on a couple of cruises. Cruises is like one of my favorite things to do now. I cannot wait to go. I want to go again this summer, God willing. A lot of people don't know that they got boat jail. I didn't learn they got boat jail because I went, but I learned that there's a boat jail. And if you think about it, it's common sense because people be acting up on the boats, right? They get too much to drink and they be fighting. Of course, we've all seen the fights on the boats and stuff like that. And so they got to have somewhere to put you when you out in the middle of the deep blue sea. They got boat jail. And then when the boat docks back to where y'all came from, you see people walking with handcuffs being escorted off by the land police. They're like, yeah, you not free because you was in boat jail for the whole trip. That means when you get to land, you're going to land jail. It's crazy. You said it's called Lord Flawless. He says the brig. Okay, the brig. There you go. I ain't never trying to be down there in no boat jail, whatever that is. And Coach Terrence, how you doing? He says, I often tell people, I think it's what you're trying to say, often tell people, specifically Black women, learn the laws before going outside the countries. Yeah. Like, why? I don't care if I didn't know no laws. I'm not finna be over there acting like that. I always feel like I need to be on my best behavior, especially when I'm in another country. I just feel not that I be acting up over here, but I'm saying over here, at least people give you just that much leeway. But in them other countries, you don't know what they own. You know, like I said, that sister that was wherever she was, Dubai, whatever, and they was like, "Oh, you talking just a little too loud. That's against the law." And everybody was like, "Oh my God," you know, because it sounded like she was having something about the rental car. I guess the guy, whatever, said she towed up the car, and of course she and they was like, "Oh, for real? You going to jail?" So yeah, you should know how loud you can really talk when you go to other people countries, right? Uh, and Sister Khadijah says correct in regards to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Raven, how you doing? Says she should have reported it to law enforcement, which could be civil, criminal. Yep, depending on the situation and country laws. We have let white people put the bitchy black woman and angry black man jacket on us. They put this jacket on us because most of us are not passive and submissive, but spine up when justified. Kind of like they started saying we lazy when we stop working for free at the end of a whip. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, because uh, America, especially, they don't, they have been taught that black people are supposed to be docile. And yeah, of course, that comes from slavery. We yes, sir, yes, sir. You know, they think that's how we all act. And then when they get to, really test that theory, and they be like, oh, they don't act like that at all. Then we angry. Because we supposed to, as they say, scratch when you don't itch or where you don't itch. And we don't do that as much anymore. So yeah, they like to label us. But regardless, I just think we should try to exercise as much emotional intelligence as possible in every situation. Again, it's not always easy to do, but I'm sorry. I got too much to lose to just be, crashing out all over the place. I mean, and I've been in like Walmarts and different places, and I've seen it from everybody. But for some reason, when the sisters do it, it's like I was at a Walmart one time, and I'm in line, and in the next couple lines over, all of a sudden you hear mother bleep bleep blah beep beep bleep bleep blah, and everybody was like, "What the?" Looking, it was a sister. She had her two babies in the basket, and she was on the phone with somebody. I was like, and this went on for a couple of minutes. Now, of course, nobody was gonna dare say, "Shh, can you keep it down?" Because everybody was scared. Rain Love, how you doing? Says, but these same illegal immigrants can cross our borders, assault our citizens and police, and get our taxpayer dollars and disrespect our laws. Yeah, well, I just say this, Rain. I'm not saying it's right what they're doing, but we know that any law that is made here in America was never made to benefit us, even though it seems to benefit, migrants. It's never meant to benefit us. And if it did, let's say, for whatever reason, we shouldn't be, I'm not saying you're saying that, but we shouldn't be acting like that, And it's hard to always be the one to take the high road. It is, trust me. I know. Maureen, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Ramen, what's going on with you? Says, I was in Tanzania and knew that I would be charged more, but my driver would not allow people to get, he says, to gauge you. He says, that's just the way it is. Yeah, you just kind of chalk it to, chalk it up, charge it to the game. They get somebody over there probably going to try to get you. All right. And if you're going that far, Tanzania, I'm assuming you got just a little bit of extra spending change, Jacoby says it's really not that hard. Just be respectful. Don't be flashy and bring a tour guide with you. It says Ethiopia. I didn't have any problems, but I had family with me and I humbled myself. Yeah, just how you doing? Thank you so much. How much? That's how I was. We went to Japan. We was cool. I can't think of if we had any problems, as far as that kind of stuff. In Japan, but when I'm like I said, in other countries, yes, sir. That's what that's what I be like that. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Kind Johans, how you doing? It says being ex-military, you learn to stay humble. He says wind up in prison with no way out. You know what I'm saying? And they not gonna care. What happened was see what they did, and and that's why I threw the pineapples. They're gonna be like, okay, get in that little 3x3 cell and come out when we tell you to. Okay, they ain't gonna care about all. See, that's when you're supposed to be more proactive, especially in adverse situations, and not reactive. Of course, we're going to react to certain things, but of course, it's how you react. Proactive means I'm thinking ahead of time. I'm trying to foreshadow. I'm having some foreseeability. Okay. He shortchanged me. I feel the volcano coming up. I feel the razor blades and lemon juice about to come up out my mouth. But if I'm looking ahead, what could this cost me? Because I really want to turn this boat over. I want to throw his pineapples and his drinks all up into the water. But what is it going to cost me? Am I going to jail? Is he going to send me to hell? Because I don't know what else he got in his boat. Like, that's how you really got to think. And it's not to say you a punk, because I know a lot of people, and I'm speaking for myself, I know a lot of people react in a certain way. I ain't no punk. Who you think I am? You ain't going to be getting over on me. And it's like, you can have it. If it's worth you stealing from me, that little bitty money, whatever it is, and me not to go to jail, you're welcome. Hey, Sister Shirley, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Chicago News, what's going on with you? Says she was like, I'm gonna tell you, you don't tell me. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to say I'm scared, because if I was scared, I wouldn't be going other places. But I'm cautious, very cautious. I'll tell y'all one story. Okay, we're leaving Johannesburg, South Africa, going to the Seychelles, right? And there's a white woman. Yes, she's an Afrikaner. That's what they call the white people in South Africa. And she was going to Seychelles. And she and her homegirl was sitting behind Donovan, my daughter, and I. And, when you get an airplane ticket and you get a seat, you can lean it back as far as it'll go back. Well, she started to get on my nerves because she's like, hey, do you have to lean your seat back? Like, can you lean the seat up? I looked through the crack and turned back around and just kept on doing what I was doing. Because, lady, please, okay? I paid for the seat, and if the seat goes back this far, that's how far it's going back, okay? So then it was time to get off the plane. Customarily speaking, when you deplane, it's you go in a row. Well, I guess she was like, forget your black ass. That was kind of her attitude. And I'm trying to get my bag down, and she in the way. Like I said, she was getting on my nerves. So I snatched my bag out the overhead thing, narrowly missing her head. And that wasn't my intentions to hit her in the head, but you in my space. She says, oh, be careful. I said, you be careful. And she looked, and I got off the plane. You know what I mean? But that was probably the only kind of point of contention I ever had going anywhere. But I'm like, I'm not from South Africa. I'm from Southern California. Okay. No shade to nobody in South Africa, but Afrikaner lady, that's how you get down with them over there. You don't get down with me like that. But that's as far as I took it. Because like I said, she was really getting on my nerves. And then she had a nice day, I guess. And Rami says, I think our women need to be very careful traveling to so-called third world countries. These countries are totally male-centric. Yes, and women being too outspoken gets put down. Yeah, and that's the stuff you should know. You can't go to other people's country. What happened was what you better do, and what I'm not going to do. That man know he got the upper hand over there. See, over here in America, you can go up and down and all up and down one side of somebody and maybe not go to jail, right? But in them other countries, they like, a woman speaking to, police. And then you're going to be sitting before the court, the magistrate, or whoever it is. Well, what happened was when he don't do me. They're like, yeah, lady, we got a nice little sale for you, okay? And you keep on talking. I'm gonna put a muzzle on you. So yeah, you need to know what you can and cannot do over there. Scoop, how you doing? Says when you in another country, you gotta recognize the American rights and attitudes don't travel. Come on now. That don't go in your carry-on bag. What you not gonna do it. And I will say this, as like I said, I'm a sister. I've been a sister, a Black woman my whole life. And if anybody could speak on Black women, it's me. Okay. So I will concede that yes, some sisters talk too much. Just shut up sometimes. I mean, and respectfully, shut your mouth, button your lip. Everybody ain't got to hear everything that's on your mind and what you ain't gonna do. Shut up in a loving way possible. Just button your, if you even got to button your lips. Just button your lips. Because as it's been said, it's been said many times before. Sisters know how to, and I like to call it the razor blades of lemon juice. They know how to and then spray that lemon juice. We know how to cut you up. And I'm not saying that it's always a good thing, because it's not. I'm one of those people, there's a time and a place. But if you one of those, and I'm speaking to the sisters, this is all love. If you one of those sisters that's always got to be expressing yourself and letting a mug know you this and that and what you're not gonna do, you might need to sit down somewhere and contemplate the meaning of your life. That's all I'm saying. Sunlight, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Rain says, Demetria, while in Dominican Republic, you and your daughter almost ended up in Haiti. Were you being rude or talking loud? No, I said that at the beginning of this. I wasn't even saying nothing. I was just standing on the corner. Not the Amanda, Deanna, can you call your auntie back? She keep calling me. I wasn't doing nothing. I'm waiting for as the old people say, the Uber. Okay, I was waiting for the Uber. Standing on the corner, I wasn't tricking. I wasn't standing on the corner tricking. Because I was thinking, does it look like I was tricking? But I wasn't. I was there with myself. It was my daughter. It was Donovan's friend. And Donovan. And they just came up and tried to gaffle us up because they thought we were Haitian, I guess. So I wasn't, I didn't even loud talk them then. I wanted to, but then I remembered my goal is to get back home. When he put his hands all up on us and stuff, like grabbed us up, I really want to say unhand me, but then, I didn't really know what he was on like that. So yeah, there's sometimes you're not doing anything, right? Raven says, Demetri, you're so right about some of us crashing out, because that's why the other race is mad at us for not being in the street crashing and come on out protesting, because they know our passion brings media, National Guards, and other eventful situations. We ain't bit on them others being mad about our absence. We just have to get proactive in he says rising as a community. Yeah, and April 5th, they're supposed to be getting 1 million people around the United States taking to the streets and protesting, and Black people are like, that don't include us, because we got other things to be doing, right? So you're absolutely right. Because we get it the most. Facts, not feelings. How you doing? It says peace and love, family. If she was in Singapore, he says she would have gotten a sentence to public caning. They got a fat booty too. He says, yeah. They do be caning people in Singapore, doing all that. Oh, they had to tow her. Woo! They had to rearrange her whole understanding of life. Carrie says she reached her breaking point. I hope things come out well with her. Yeah, I get it. We all have a breaking point. I'm gonna just do it when the right way. I'm not gonna do it over there. See, and that's the other thing too. And Carrie, I'm not saying this about you or anybody. I think we have to, and again, I'm not saying this about you, we have to stop rationalizing things. Well, she do got a point because this, that, and the other. Nowhere does it say that you could throw a man's pineapples all over the damn ocean because you think he cheated you or didn't give you the right money. Nowhere does it say you could do that. Where does it say that you can go absolute DEF CON on the pineapples? That's not a right response. And unfortunately, people will rationalize that. Well, he should have went in there. Well, maybe if he wouldn't have. That's still not the right response. That is still not the right response to do that. There's a chain of command. There's a way to go about being heard. And you may not be heard in other people's country. That's a possibility too. But crashing out in the middle of the deep blue sea, Mrs. South Carolina says, this Indian shortchanged me in Washington, D.C. I went back in the store and asked for my change, which he gave me. Sometimes it works out, and sometimes it don't. Brother Don, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. God, a child of God, rather, he says, definitely don't leave the U.S. with all that. They only allow that in the U.S. Yep. And Jacoby, he says, Demetri, right? It says now we're not in very good standing in other countries, and they have no problems doing a WWE Samoan drop. Yeah, don't do that to me. 48 TCO, how you doing? Says, yep, my dad told me once I wouldn't make it in a third world country, and I never traveled outside the U.S. and don't want to be completely honest. Yeah, if you know your limits, then don't go. He says, I'm working on my eye rolls and neck twists. Yeah, you got to get that under subjection. Because in other countries, they don't cut for all that. And I know that one sister was in Onaija. I forget where she's at. Where she was supposed to go and meet her 19-year-old fiance, Pakistan. They're getting a kick out of it, but that's Pakistan, okay? She's getting away with it in Pakistan. Bakari, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Enlighten, how you doing? Says, our American rights end at our borders. Come on. Says the U.S. State Department website provides information on every country and their rules about dress and cultural norms and what you can and cannot do. Yeah. Which is why it always baffles me when I see people going to other countries and they naked. Like when we went to Tokyo. If you went naked one day, the next day you're going to have some clothes on. Because I didn't see nobody over there with stuff jugged up here. And I didn't see it. Those women were very modest. They were fashionable. And Tokyo's like one of the most fashionable places to be. But they had clothes on. They didn't, to me, I didn't see their women feeling the need, to show everything. So a lot of times people go to other countries and they don't research or study like, okay, what can I wear? Can I wear this? Can I have 2 cotton balls and a Band-Aid on in Dubai? It's like, you might not want to do that, especially if they women are like this. If that's all they showing, you might want to put some clothes on, Matthew says, I refuse to let a loud mouth get me locked up abroad first and last date. And that's true. You got to be careful of the company you keep. Most of us know somebody we ain't going nowhere with, right? We all know that person in our life that we ain't going nowhere because you don't know how to act. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there's certain people that I will not sit down and order nothing with. There's some people I wouldn't go through a drive-through with. Unless I'm doing the ordering, which I rarely go to drive-thrus, but I'm just saying, unless I'm ordering, there's certain people I will not go to a drive-thru with. Well, I heard the food is nasty here. I don't know how about that. I can't hear you. What you having? Nothing. I'm not hungry no more. I'm not having nothing. I mean, I've known people go sit down at restaurants. How's the food here? Because I heard it ain't that good. And now I'm supposed to feel good. You hell to the no. So I just don't hang out with certain people who ain't got no sense. That's just me. Roz, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. 48 TCO says the song Proud to Be an American is playing in my mind. You proud over here, right? Bakari says you got to have emotional intelligence. When abroad, I used to be a door-to-door salesman, so I know how to communicate with strangers. Same. Allie, how you doing? Says, did you hear about the 2 women who were running around the airport and plane butt naked, but how they got on they got on the plane, they went to airplane jail? Is that what you're trying to say? Rewrite that, because I'm not sure, but I didn't hear about it nevertheless. So another thing, why are you traveling through the airport with no clothes on? I see that, and I'm like, man, I know I couldn't be working at the gate. TSA. Ma'am, that's inappropriate. You may not get on the plane like that. Well, you might want to go to the gift shop, but you better do it before we close the doors because you're not getting it. See, that's why I couldn't have that job. They'd be like, she tripping. Am I? Or do people not want to be subjected to your two booty cheeks on in the friendly skies? I don't know. Uh let's see. Bakari says she locked up in Dubai now. I think that's what I heard. So is Onaja locked up? She got to acting too much of a fool in the wrong place. Yikes. Sister Shirley says, at this point in my life, I get dizzy trying to roll my neck at this age. Yeah, some people. Yeah, you start to get older. It's like it gets stuck. Hey, Tyrone, how you doing? Raven says, when Bill Clinton was president, a white team went to the Philippines. I remember that. Went to the Philippines and graffitied a wall. The courts ruled Canaan, his behind, was in order. His parents begged Clinton to intervene. Clinton told his parents, nope, your son took his bad American behavior to another country and is subjected to their punishment. And the crazy part is the person, Singaporean, is that how you say it? I'm probably saying it wrong, but the guy he was with, he was getting more caning. And I think the American was getting like 5, 6, 7. I don't know. I heard one is too many. And everybody, a lot of people in America was like, oh, that's so wrong. Oh, you need to do something. It's like, did he graffiti on their stuff? Yes. Then why is he special? Why does he get to usurp the laws over there? And they tore his behind up. I think he survived, but you don't want your behind toe up, then don't tear up their property. It's just that simple. Imagine if they had some caning over here. Oh my God, we'd have a better off society, but let me be quiet. Matthew says, I hate to tune into a social media site and they're cussing for no reason. Do they forget children are listening? Yeah. I might say a word or two on here, nothing too major, right? But I purposely, I try my best not to do it on here because you're right. You don't know who's watching. I got young nieces and nephews, they watch and stuff, and you never know. But I just think we should try to do our best, especially when you're in public. Be on your best behavior. People, the things that you do behind closed doors, people shouldn't see you do that, especially if it's unsavory in public. It's back in the day. Women, men, I guess, but even men wouldn't even curse in public. They might say, oh, bet you by golly, wow. And that was about the extent of it, right? But now you hear you, mother F this B book. See, I think people should be put out of places like that. They should get a no, ma'am. You ain't finna be all up in here doing, ma'am, could you button your lip? We're a family establishment and you up in here talking like on a Navy ship somewhere, I don't know. Chicago News says, welcome to Burger King. May I take your order? I'm going to tell you, you don't tell me. Yeah, I don't hang out with people like that. If you acting crazy in the restaurant or whatever with me, you got one time to do it. Come on, girl, let's go out to eat. No, I'm not hungry. Stomach be growling. I got something to do. Because what you ain't going to do is give me food poison because you got a bad attitude. I don't understand people like that. Dude. Are you that high on your own supply where you don't think the people gonna put something in your food? You acting stupid? Them people got the power to kill you. Like for real. They got the power to put something that don't belong in your food. And you like, no, I don't understand. I heard the food is nasty here and they don't be doing all this to my. I'm good. I'm gonna stay home and have me. And I haven't eaten Spam in decades, okay? But I'd rather eat a Spam sandwich at home with 2 pieces of bread, the booty of the bread, before I go out with people who act like that. Not gonna do it. Donovan, he says, fellas, he says, leave this woman alone. Get your passport, ladies. You can't act like you do here in the U.S. over there. Patriarchy is strong. Yeah, and it's not just women. Dudes do it too. But I think that's kind of where I was going a minute ago. Y'all know I'm getting old. I get sidetracked sometimes. Yeah, sometimes you got to know the person that you're with. if you're with a woman or a man that don't have any emotional intelligence, you might want to leave them alone because they might have you ended up catching a bad one because they don't know how to control themselves. Especially men, you with a woman that's and then you might feel like you have to defend her because she might be getting on the verge of getting choked out or something. So you feel like you have to defend her and it might cost you something. So that type of woman, you might need to leave her to the banshee tribe she comes from. I don't know. You have to think about those things. Yeah, she fine. She got a booty of the goddesses and all that, but she crazy and she might cost me something. So we good, you know, men too. Mission Vision, how you doing? Donovan says, I was hesitant about traveling with Demetra and her daughter, but her daddy is hell no. Her daddy assured me if I had any problems, call him. Nah, Donovan. Y'all heard me tell the story about Donovan acting a donkey before we even got off the doggone ground. He's at LAX. He got it too. He tried to get into a verbal fisticuff with the lady from what is it, Emirates? I think that's how you say it, airline. He's standing all up on the plane, recording everybody on there. You know, when you're going overseas, those planes are huge. And we kind of almost toward the back. He's standing up recording everybody. And the airline steward, she was nice. Sir, you can't do that. Donovan being oh, I can do this. This is America. There's no right to privacy. And I'm like, told my daughter, I said, Deanna, don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable. We might be getting off. And she says, this plane belongs to the what is it, the EAU or the however you say it, in the Middle East, wherever it is. I don't even remember where we were going at this point. She said, we have jurisdiction in this plane. For a nice lack of better words, Donovan kept, I said, if you don't sit down, sit down. And he sat down, but I was like, oh my God. He about to get put off. We was gonna go. Ali says, yes, Demetra. There were two separate instances. One woman was running around the airport and the other one was on the plane. I don't even know. Roger says, it's been forever since I've been overseas, but I was usually with a group. We followed local customs and pretty much stayed with the tour guide and the other group members. Yeah, you're probably safer that way, right? Rain says that was in Japan. Yeah. You talking about what I was just talking about not too long ago? And Sonia, how you doing? She says, I totally remember this. And to this day, we still don't know who that was. I remember everybody wanted to be on TV, but they said no. Says, I was a teenager when Clinton was president. When this happened, I remember seeing this on the news. It was so crazy. I really wanted them to cane him. Damn. He said live on TV, but they said no. Yeah, everybody was trying to get the embassy involved, and everybody's like, man, it could have been done got over with. Because the nature of caning is, I guess it's some sort of, I don't know, is it bamboo or whatever it is, and it's your bare behind, from what I understand. And the nature of the caning is where it tears your skin open. Like it splits your skin in two, right? Pow! And then your skin splits open, and then you got to get 6 more of them. Ooh, boy, I would have been clenching my booty together like... But the other dude got like 12, 15 of them or something like that. So it's like, consider yourself lucky. And at the very least, you'll always have a story to tell as to why you got those, marks on your behind. Rain says they were vandalizing cars. Okay, so cars in Japan is what it was. He says he fainted from the first hit with the cane. I bet he did. Matthew says, have anyone been on a date and your friend complained about the food, yet ate everything on the plate? It's like, what the hey? Yes. But I'm concerned about what before we get the food and you was doing all that complaining. I don't even want any water. I'm just here. Why you ain't gonna eat? And I tell them because you don't know how to act. Like I've literally been places. An ex-boyfriend of mine back in the Gap. We go to this restaurant and he goes to the counter. You have to order it as a sit-down restaurant. You have to order your food. He says, how's the rice here? Because I heard it ain't that good. Are you crazy? I was scared to death. I was like, oh, hell to the no. I heard it ain't that good. What? Jacoby says, I thought I heard it all before from Spirit Airlines and Frontier. Now we crazy people going around naked in the airport with that booty whiff smell. Yeah. And it's not even just, listen, what y'all not gonna do? Y'all ain't gonna badmouth Spirit. Okay. I'm a freaking flyer on Spirit and Frontier. But I've seen it on all airlines. I've seen the ridiculousness on all airlines. Spirit, yeah, it's a little more of an urban experience, if you will. You're gonna see more bonnets on Spirit, not so much Frontier, I can say, but Spirit for real, for real. Spirit, yeah, they the bonnets, the house shoes, the booty panties, and the weed aroma. Yeah, you're gonna, yeah. But I get my book and I sit down and I mind my black business, and we get there just fine. But yeah, I don't think any airline you shouldn't be doing that. But more importantly, I think that they should tell people you can't. No, you can't come on here like that. But see, the other problem too is some people you say, "I'm sorry, ma'am, you can't get on this plane. Your booty is hanging out." Oh, that's racism. You didn't say nothing. So maybe a lot of airlines is probably like, just let it slide. Just let it slide. Allie says, I thought sailors wore. I guess it's mainstream now. Yeah, back in the day, a woman, especially cursing in public, it was almost unheard of. Now you almost see more women doing it than men. Not oh shoot, oh heck. It's some of the worst stuff you could think of. And it's like, golly, that's so embarrassing. You know? I don't know. And trust me, I curse sometimes, not as much as I used to. I just don't have the energy as I used to, but if I can. But y'all will never hear that side of me, I don't think. Uh Raven says, I went to the movies with a sister a few years ago and she was so nasty to the young black woman serving us refreshments for no reason. Uber Lyft was her ride home, just nasty for no reason. Yeah, it's like, I don't understand what that is. You got to demean somebody, got to bring them down to size. That's not what I said. No, that's not what I want. Can you hear? Did you hear what I'm saying? I don't hang out with people like that. I'm sorry. Especially at our big grown age. You still don't know how to communicate. I don't care if you ask for no butter on your popcorn. If they gave you all of the parquet, now that's old school, right? All of the, I can't believe it's not butter. If they put the whole factory worth of popcorn or butter on your popcorn, there's a way to go about that. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want any butter. Is that okay? Can you remake this? I'm so sorry. That's me. I'm apologetic if somebody gives me the wrong something. Oh, I'm so sorry. Maybe I didn't ask. I did. I forgot to ask for no butter on my popcorn. Is there a way that can be made over? Oh yeah, sure. But anyway, you know I didn't want no popcorn, no butter. There's a way to say that. Be nice. Be cool. Because people make mistakes. You ain't gotta make them feel like the worst thing ever. People make mistakes all the time. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. There's popcorn aplenty. They can make it over. But some people, they just, I think it's some people, they feel like I always got to have the upper hand no matter where I'm at. I'm going to let people know what you ain't going to do is me. You ain't going to do me. Ma'am, it was just the wrong popcorn order. You ain't got to be woosah, okay? Some people just, they don't know. And it's unfortunate. They don't know there's other ways of behaving. You ain't got to be all that everywhere. You know? Chicago News, he says, sir, you can't record on the plane. Why? Because I'm black. If I was white, you wouldn't say to anything. Yeah. You can't record on the plane. And I think most people probably know that. But, and the other thing too is certain hills you don't need to try to die on. It ain't that serious. Because the objective is to get to where you're going. You don't need to die on the hill in the plane before it get off the ground, because what they will do is put you off. And then they might put you on a no-fly list because you acting up, you know? And the other thing is this too. When you acting like that, wherever it is, there's somebody that has even less to lose than you. And you know what is another one of my favorite movies? It's Falling Down with uh just slipped my mind. Um Michael Douglas. Falling Down. Now he was having a bad day, just bad life, I guess, and everybody he ran into was with the stuff. And he was like, "For real? All right. Well, today finna be your last day." Thank you, brother Don. Michael Douglas. Falling Down. You don't know what that other person is going through. You don't know. They might have decided that the next person that tests my gangster is going to be the last. Because as my mama used to always say, there's always somebody bigger and badder than you. There's always somebody that is a little bit more unglued than you. I never forgot that because there is, you know. Matthew says, "Spirit, welcome to Butt Cheeks Airline or Butt Cheeks Airline." Yeah. Other thing too is you sitting your raw behind on a seat that 19,000 other people have sat on today. Whether you in a restaurant, the gym. That's like when I go to the gym, I always wear long pants. I don't want my legs, my skin touching any of that because I always see girls or women with the gym panties on. That's what I call them. Zhugged all the way up. And they sitting on all the equipment and stuff. They don't always wipe it down. It's like, see, when I'm at the gym, I wipe the stuff down like like I'm at home, right? I spray it, wipe it down, dry it off. Every piece of equipment that I use. Because I know there's people who, they not like us. Hey Shan, how you doing? Rod says, I'm gonna pray for you, Demetra. I did Spirit and Frontier Airlines one time. That was once too many. Yeah, I don't like Frontier Airline is probably to me worse than Spirit. Now I'll tell y'all why I take Frontier. Because I'm from California and I go to California back home often. Frontier is the only non-stop that goes closer to where I'm from. So I fly into Ontario. Spirit goes to Los Angeles, LAX, right? I'm from the IE, Riverside to be exact, which is about 50 minutes or so from Los Angeles. So if I catch a plane into Los Angeles, it takes me like a half a day to get out of there. So I waste a day almost getting out of Los Angeles. So Frontier just take me right to Ontario, which is about 15 minutes away from my people. It's just a straight shot, and the airport is smaller. So that's why I take Frontier. I don't like Frontier. They canceled my last flight there. I had to reschedule 2 days later. So, but that's why I do it for convenience. So, Carrie says, someone is preparing your food and you going to talk to them like that? Ignorance. And I'm like, I ask people who act like that, how do you actually know how many other ingredients you've probably gotten in your food because you act like that? You're a very trusting person. You trust that you can talk to people any and every kind of way, and they're going to fall to the appeal to your ignorance. Oh, she told me, well, let me go back there and do it right. Listen, I used to work at McDonald's when I was a teenager. I never did nothing nefarious to people's food, but I've seen it done. I've seen it, which is why I'm a believer. Somebody come through the drive-through. I ain't gonna tell you what I've seen people do, but I've seen it. And I'm like, man, if these people in the drive-through only knew. Now I'm 16 at the time. I probably could have said something, but I'm like, damn, I'll be telling all the time. So I was just like, wow. If that person only knew the extra ingredients they got up in their food. Because they was acting a whole fool in the doggone drive-through. or over the counter. It's like, Shan says, be careful how you treat people. And that is the lesson. Donovan says, not all ladies, but y'all need to check your homegirls. Hard to feel sorry for these ghetto clowns. I just don't hang out with people like that. If you don't have any emotional intelligence, you got to, and I know people like that, trust me. I have a very good friend, known her all my life mostly. I'm very leery to go anywhere with her because it's always gonna be a time, always, where she got to get the waiter told and what you not gonna do, and then why didn't you, and didn't you know, and we can hang out, but we're just not going out to eat nowhere unless I'm ordering separately from you or something. Because you do too much. But you got to think about the nature. Hey, Damon, how you doing? You got to think about the nature of a person who does that. I think it's a level of narcissism. It's all about me. I should be able to check people wherever I go, and if they don't like it, that's a them problem. That's not a me problem. And what you need to understand, and all this thing, that's narcissism. To think that you are within your rights to talk to people like that. And then when somebody who has less to lose than you clean your clock because they didn't like how you talk to them, that ain't right. I'm not saying that's right. Then it's like, well, why did I know? You tested they gangster and they didn't have no more to give. That's what happened. The next time you learn to button your mouth, you ain't always got to be saying something. You know what I mean? So as far as checking your homegirls, yeah, there's some people you could check. But then, listen, I'm about to be 54 soon. I'm one of those people, I'm not going to repeat myself to you, especially when it's just some foolishness, because I don't have to. If I got to convince you to act right when we go somewhere, I don't need to hang out with you. I don't need your company that bad. If I got to have, all right, before we go, let's go over a couple of things. Stop talking to people crazy. And if I got to give you a dossier of behavioral, norms, I'm not hanging out with you. That don't mean we're not friends. We just not friends in public. We grown. I don't even did not have to talk like that to my daughter when she was a child. I don't have to talk like that to her now that she's a grown. So what I look like talking to another fully grown woman or man that don't know how to behave? I don't have to do that. And I'm not going to. That's just me. Brother Don says, The Apostle says, up on my desktop. I'm going to watch it as soon as I can. Carve out a couple of hours, maybe later this evening, please, because I want to have a conversation with y'all about The Apostle. Very good movie. We was talking about religion yesterday. I know you will love it. Shan says they may have spent some time adding spit to the food. I ain't going to tell y'all what it was. It was some ingredients that wasn't supposed to be up in there. That's all I'm gonna say. Mike, nice. How you doing? A different view. What's going on with you? Janetta, what's going on? So the level of pain and low self-esteem. Also, yeah, that's exactly what it is. They feel it could be something that happened to them, and they feel like, oh no, I'm not gonna let nobody run down on me. Like, ma'am, they just put butter on your popcorn and you didn't want butter. They didn't run down on you. It was a mistake. It was an accident. Calm down. Calm down. Like one time, I went out to lunch. It was my mom and a friend. Me and my mom, thank God Almighty, we had got there before that person did. Okay. And it was a Mexican restaurant. And, they'll bring you some chips and sauce and stuff. So me and my mom had already ordered our food. That person was late. We was eating. And so the waiter brought out some fresh chips and salsa. And I don't know, he may or may not have accidentally, because if you hold the container, I have one right here. It wasn't salsa, it was something else in here. So you hold it like this. Now, his finger might have touched the salsa. I don't know. She says, oh, you're going to have to bring me another one because their finger was in the salsa. It touched the salsa. He goes, oh, no, ma'am. No, I didn't. Yes, it did. I saw it. Loud. The poor guy was so embarrassed. So he went and got her another one, and me and my mom looked like, thank God we had already ordered our food. But it's like, Did you have to embarrass that man like that? Because he was really embarrassed, you know. She was acting. Oh my. Ain't no telling what they did to her food, but I was glad I got mine. Um, Damon says, "Facts. You don't f with people fixing your food, even especially family members." Which let's digress for a second. I'm gonna be here about 5 more minutes. Let's digress. Let's go way back in history, way back to the plantation. Now you just got through whipping somebody, mama or daddy that was fixing your food. I know doggone well our ancestors said, "Oh, yes, man, I was gonna make you some biscuits right now." And they put something else in that. I feel such satisfaction knowing that our people was like, yeah, we don't really have the ability to just really just go off, but I got the ability to, in your biscuits, in your gravy. I know they did. I know our ancestors did. So, Mission Vision says 100, and Genetic says like. Well, thank you. Different view says it's like. Oh, all those comments set up. Let's see. He says, I just saw a comment. He says it's like setting rules for children. Yeah, I ain't finna be doing all of that. You too grown. Genetic says 404. It says establish or east. Is that what it is? Well, thank you, Damon. 44, and I'll be 54. Sometimes, like I said, it catches up to you. Hey, James, how you doing? Sonia says with Demetra, what Demetra said, calm down. I love your tone of voice. Calm down. Yeah. Relax. You know, bust a blood vessel acting foolish. It's crazy. Venus, how you doing? Says we have as FBAs need to get our feelings and mental cognitiveness under control. It seems no one is in favor of us at all. We have more serious issues to challenge, like rebuilding our wealth. Yes, and we do. We got to get our emotions in check because with building wealth, you know, one of the other reasons why we haven't been able to build wealth. Well, who said you gonna charge? Why you get to be the leader? Why? Who does anybody? Why they got to do it? Why I can't do it? Well, why he can't do it? It's like, do it matter? We all go in the same place regardless of who is taking the lead. See, that'd be a lot of our problem too. We just can't say, I'm gonna sit down and shut up. I'm gonna listen. You go ahead and tell us what you got. Okay, what's the plan? What's the strategy? What do we need to do? What do you need me to do? We don't know how to do that. We mad because who died and made you the boss? John Phillips, what's going on with you? Just came in. We about to get out of here. What I said, I got a couple more minutes. Your average logical thinker. How you doing? Yeah, a couple more minutes. Y'all know how it is. Carrie says, went into the store with a young lady and she threw her chewing gum wrapper on the floor. I had to pick it up just because I was with her. Yeah. See, me, I would have said, you might want to pick that up. I'm sorry. Pick your trash up. And if she didn't do it, then I would have picked it up and I'd have been like, this is our last outing together until you rearrange your understanding. That would have been me. Matthew says, oh, no surprise ingredients. Yeah, you know. Damon says, give Massa mud guts. You know, he's probably like, why is every time sassafras make these biscuits, my stomach hurting? I don't know now, Massa. Maybe you, I don't know. You come down with the melancholy or something. Daryl, if I didn't already, says, why are, how you doing? It says, why are Black people, especially Black Americans, vacationing in that country, crashing out in a foreign country is a bad idea because ain't got no sense. Venus says, keep up the amazing work, Mr. Mitra. I'm learning a lot. Well, thank you. I love and appreciate you for that. Wow, Williams, what's going on with you? Janetta says, Eastern Standard Time. Got you. Damn, yeah, it's 3:00 already here. I'm in Central Time. Agent Black, what's going on with you? Says, I'm on lunch break. I'm glad you're streaming. Have you seen the new Jonathan Majors movie, Magazine Dreams? Had me shed a tear at the end. No, I heard it was good. But you know what? I'd love to see it. So maybe I'll check it out in the next couple of days. I like Jonathan Majors, really rooting for him. Jacoby says, PSA announcement. If you go to another country and people have weird nicknames like a la carte, barbecue joker, that's a tell sign not to mess with people. Yeah, just go on about your business. just have a great day, right? Carrie says that's the movie that the sister put some. Oh, you talking about The Help? You're having a chocolate pie today, and I'm gonna make one for you next week too. They had it all over. Oh, it's so good. Oh. Daryl says YouTube didn't notify me. I thought you just went live. Yeah, I don't know why they don't notify people. I'm so sorry, y'all. Have to have a talk with Mr. YouTube. Sister Shirley says sometimes they put let's see, your comment went up. Sometimes they put crushed glass in their food. Yep, I heard about that. Very fine. Like, oh, that heartburn. Yes, it's heartburn. Raven says, you mentioned, he says, wiping down gym equipment. You trigger me watching people put their pooches in store carts, but never wipe down after service. Oh, you're talking about the dogs. I thought you were talking about something else. He says, never wiping down after service dogs. Yes, normal dog, car or home. I digress. Yeah, some people do. I don't like eating at restaurants where they let dogs in there either. I don't like it. I don't get it. Like your dog is not on the same level as me. I don't think your dog should be eating in a restaurant with me. And I know some people's a pet lover. Oh, my dog is. I ain't saying nothing about Fido. I'm no shade to Fido. Your dog should not be eating in the same restaurant as me. And I'm unapologetic about that. I don't want to look over and see your dog when I'm eating. I get no. Ross says, y'all remember the chocolate pie in the movie The Help? Yep. That was a great movie, by the way. More, yeah, Janetta, more chocolate pies. You having sassafras? You don't think we should be eating those strawberry pies or something? No, I think chocolate pie. I like the chocolate pie. Yeah, well, I think about the strawberry pie, but not now. Jonathan, thank you so much for that love and appreciate you. Says we suffer from arrested development in our culture, always want to lead with glamour and emotion, not wanting to put in work for the long run. Yeah, you're exactly right. We have to evolve. That is the word for the day. Evolve, grow. You can't act like a donkey like you used to when you was young. One of my other favorite movies is Mommy Dearest, and one of the lines in that movie is when Greg, that was Joan Crawford in the movie. Faye Dunaway played the character, but she was acting crazy with him, right? They went to a restaurant and she was the star and she's stopping and she's signing autographs and so he went on in the restaurant, sat down, and then he saw his homies in there. So he was sitting at the table, and so she finally goes in there. And he says, oh, why don't you come over here and sit down? And she's mad because she wanted to have an evening with him. So then when they get home, she's like, how dare you treat me like a piece of meat? Like I got something tattooed on my backside. And she's drunk and she's acting crazy. And they're older now. And he's just looking at her, crashing out. He waits for her to finish. He says, when you were younger, it was cute. But now that you're older, it's just pathetic. And he broke up with her. He left. So the point to that is, which is why I really love that scene, is because, when you're younger, you could get away with some of that. But when you're older, you're supposed to have evolved. You're not supposed to be, you're supposed to, even if you don't like something, find a way to express yourself without acting crazy, right? Evolve emotionally, mentally, financially, physically. Evolve. You're not supposed to be the same person you were when you was 21, figuring out life and how to communicate. When you're 51 and you still doing that, stick yourself lovingly. Delano, how you doing? Says massive biscuits. You got me over here cracking up. I'm just saying, I think you got the melancholy, man. So I don't know what's going on with your digestive system. I've been doing the same thing to the biscuits I've always done. And I do mean doing the same thing. Hey, Beverly, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. John says no more wire hangers. Yes, I'm telling you, it's one of my favorite movies. It is. It really is. For a whole host of reasons. Shannon says they may feed you. He says Chico someday if you don't watch what you say to people in the restaurant. I don't know what Chico is, but it don't sound like something I want. Carrie says kissing dogs and getting those special parasites. I'm not a pet person. It's not because I'm cruel to animals. I love animals from a distance. Hey, how you doing? I've never been an animal person. Never. Don't want a dog. That I never in the house, outside of the house. I just never have, and no shade to anybody. Of course, y'all know my homie Donovan got animals, and they like to jump on me. Donovan's new dog, when I went over there not too long ago, he came to the damn door like Cujo. I was like, hell no. Do not open this door. I said, do not open this door. I said, I'm going to go to the car and I'm going to wait for you out there because Cujo is acting up, right? So, yeah, that's me. And Carrie says, yeah, and Terry, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So anyway, I'm about to get out of here. I'm going to see you guys on Sunday. Yes, Sunday. That's when we'll be back. He says, stay cool with people fixing your food. Yes, please and thank you. And I mean, if you don't want to stay cool with people fixing your food, do the voodoo that you do so well. Just don't do it with me. Okay. Don't do it with me. Yes, Jeanette, I love pets from a distance, but I never wanted to be a pet person. Never. Anyway, I love y'all. See y'all later. Again, if y'all want to help the channel, you can do so. But thank you for everything that you do. Like, subscribe, comment, and all that. You all are amazing, amazing, amazing. So I will see y'all in a couple of days. Peace.